Hey guys, so FullyRawKristina put out a video called Fruits and Veggies Can Save Your Life, and it's like a rant video. It's not really a rant. Yeah, she's much too nice to do any sort of a real rant. Yeah, it's kind of another example of her and raw foodists in general. Really a lot of people, a lot of regular vegans, I guess, do this. Kind of looking for the easiest argument to tackle, so to speak, and not really acknowledging the people who don't do well on fully raw, like I talked about in my why I failed on a fully raw diet, and people who just have legitimate concerns about eating all fruits and vegetables.
Too often I hear from people, I don't need to eat fruits and vegetables. I'll just go eat my fast food. I'll go eat this junk food. I'll go eat that soda. I'll go eat whatever it is, this junk food, this unhealthy food. And they think that it doesn't affect them.
Sure, there are some people who are just like, yeah, it doesn't matter what I eat. It doesn't matter what I do. We're all going to die anyway, whatever. But I don't think that's the norm. And it's certainly not the norm when it comes to her audience, people who are interested in watching her videos. Again, it's looking at this really easy to tackle argument and only acknowledging that, not acknowledging those of us who are like, yeah, no, fruits and vegetables are great. You should be eating them. Just maybe not only fruits and vegetables.
Everybody knows that when you begin to eat healthier foods and you start taking out toxic foods from your diet, you feel physically better.
Toxic foods, get rid of toxic foods like whole grains and legumes. I mean, that essentially is what she's implying, right? Just eat fruits and vegetables. All the other foods are toxic. All the cooked foods are toxic. All the beans with their antioxidants and protein and minerals and other wonderful things, they're toxic.
To give you an example, let's say you want to go out to a fast food joint and buy a Big Mac for $3.99. You putting your money towards that institution supports that institution. Most of that money goes towards slaughtering animals unethically, or it goes to big pharma companies who create more pills and drugs and short-term solutions to help us get healthier. But guess what? Those bandaids are not long-term solutions. Pills are bandaids. They are short-term solutions to health.
Big pharma, pills are band-aids. Yeah, tell that to people who have chronic pain. And without those pills, those band-aids, they cannot function. Tell that to people who are depressed. Although I'm sure Kristina, actually, she had a video recently on depression and eat fully raw and whatever. So yeah, of course, I'm sure her answer for that as well is just eat healthy, live the lifestyle, become your highest vibrational self, or whatever she says. I don't know what that means, but yeah, and then you won't need the antidepressants. This is not just a raw food thing. This is not just a fully raw, low-fat raw thing. You see this with any sort of extreme diet. Paleo, they do the same thing. They make these kinds of claims. And you have to, really, because these diets are so nonsensical that if she were to tackle, again, those of us making like reasonable critiques, not just like, who cares about fruits and vegetables? We're all going to die anyway. But those of us who are like, no, fruits and vegetables are good, but maybe don't eat them all the time. And actually, there are lots of people who need to stay on their meds to function and like feel okay and be healthy. You can't just expect fruits and vegetables to cure everything. She can't tackle those because she can't make an argument against that. The science is not on her side. The evidence is not on her side. Or again, the paleo people, any of these people marketing, selling these kinds of diets. So the only thing they can do is focus on the silly ones, the silly arguments, the like, who cares what we eat? We're all going to die, whatever. I'm just going to live on bacon. It's fine. My grandfather lived on bacon and he lived to be 99 years old, that kind of thing. Anecdotes and whatnot. And they also have to spread these extreme claims like you won't need meds anymore, right? Pills are band-aids, because they are promoting a diet that is so extreme. Like the only way you are going to get people to get people watching something, especially something like this where you're saying just eat fruits and vegetables. The only way you're going to get people interested in something that is clearly from the outset like, wow, that's going to be hard. It's going to be expensive. The only way you're going to get people is if you tell them like, yeah, okay, it's a little hard, it's a little expensive, but holy crap, like you will just be the healthiest person ever and you'll never have any problems. And oh, by the way, it's not really that expensive, although yes, it really is. Yeah, that's the only way you're really going to be able to market something like that. So yeah, it's not surprising to me that she makes these claims, and I'm not saying she's lying. I think she really does believe that. She's obviously someone who's not dealing with any of these really, really critical issues that require medication. So it's really easy for her to say, yeah, pills are band-aids. It's kind of like I talked about in the Onision video talking about at-home vegans. It's really easy for people who don't have children, don't have sort of responsibilities like that, or live a very lax lifestyle. It's really easy for them to say, yeah, it's just super easy to go vegan because it was easy for them. Whereas people in other situations, maybe not so much. And the same with her. She lives a very different lifestyle from most people, and it's very easy for her to maintain this diet. I think she has like 8 fridges or something in her house. I mean, this is not a normal situation. But going back to the pills, the medication, big pharma, it's really damaging because you set people up for failure. No one wants to be on medication. Everyone wants to. It's kind of like all the alternative medicine and cancer stuff. Like, everyone wants to believe that we can just cure ourselves through food, right? Like, we can just prevent any cancer by just juicing. I mean, how amazing would that be? Or we can be stage 4 cancer and start juicing and, eating fruits and vegetables, and we can cure our cancer. I mean, who doesn't want that? That would be amazing. And the same with people who are on maybe daily meds or whatever it is, insulin or whatever. They want so badly to, like, yeah, I don't have to take this anymore if I just eat a certain way, and I'll feel amazing and I'll lose weight and all of these different things. But it's just setting up a lot of people for failure. I'm not saying there aren't situations where you could reduce certain medications or get off them completely, particularly if you're talking about something like statins. There are certainly examples of people who change their diet, lose weight, get healthy, reduce their saturated fat content, and are able to get off of cholesterol-lowering drugs. But number one, you certainly don't have to eat only fruits and vegetables to do that. You can eat just a normal, plant-based, healthy diet that's lower in saturated fat and sugar and whatnot, and achieve that goal, or at least lower, the amount that you're taking. And number two, again, it's not always going to be that you're able to get off those drugs. Every person is different. Every situation is different. It's just really sad because, again, I think it's setting up a lot of people for failure. People who think, all right, I'm going to get off these meds, and then they can't. Or oh God, they do, not listening to their doctor and, make themselves ill or whatever. I mean, that's an even worse situation. I'm not saying that Kristina is, I don't think she's even thinking about these things. I think, again, because she lacks the knowledge and she also lacks the experience, it's easy for her to just say pills are band-aids.
It's not just about eating fruits and vegetables. It's about changing your life. It's about voting with your dollar. It's about helping our society to evolve into something that is sustainable.
Again, she's implying that the only way you can do this is by buying fruits and vegetables, eating a fully raw diet. I mean, you can be vegan and not support factory farming and all of that and not just live on fruits and vegetables. And the sustainability issue I talked about recently in the video on food waste. I mean, if we really care about sustainability, if we really care about food waste, we really don't want to be eating that many fruits and vegetables. We really want to be focused on dry staples, whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, foods like that.
Some people may think this is harsh, but in my personal opinion, the people who tell me that eating fruits and vegetables doesn't really matter in the long term, to me, those are the individuals who are not consciously living. They're not awakened. They're not aware of what's truly going on in society and how our food choices affect our world.
I agree. The type of people who say that, it doesn't matter, they are unaware. They may be ignorant, or they're just, they don't want to deal with it, and they're kind of putting themselves on the defensive, right? Because they don't want to listen to whatever you're saying. But if Kristina really wants to reach these people, you're not going to reach them telling them to eat only fruits and vegetables. I mean, you were talking about the extreme people. this is not the norm. Most people, they have some sort of idea what we're supposed to be eating. Most people know to limit saturated fat, to limit trans fat, to limit sugars, and to eat more fruits and vegetables. Most people are aware of this. And most people at least say that they want to do this. They want to move their diet and their lifestyle into, a healthier direction. So she's focusing on this little small group of people who are just really like, I don't care. But again, if you actually want to reach those people, I don't see how giving them one of the most extreme diets possible is going to reach them. I mean, if anything, you would want to start really, really small and simple. Like first, hey, your decisions actually do matter. Here's relevant evidence, scientific consensus with regard to saturated fat and sugar and exercise as well, yada, yada, yada. And you actually can extend your life to some degree. Okay, you don't care about that maybe. Okay, well, you can make yourself feel better in the, present moment and for the years that you do have. Maybe that's important to you. And here are little things that you can do to get started. Giving up soda is a popular thing, or just cutting back on certain foods. Maybe telling these people instead that no, it does matter because I say it matters and you're not conscious and you need to reach your highest vibrational
self.
And you do it by eating only fruits and vegetables. So cut out all of your favorite foods, only fruits and vegetables. There you go. I don't think you're going to reach those people.
The best person that you can be, feeling your best.
So this is something I didn't really cover in my why I failed raw food thing, but this idea that you're going to feel your best eating only fruits and vegetables. I honestly don't feel any different. I did that diet for a long time and I really don't feel different eating the way I do now, which is quite different from how I ate then. I really don't feel any different. I wouldn't say I had more energy then than I do now. I think I talked about that in an older video. For me, energy, having energy is like nebulous and vague as that is. More has to do with a regular exercise routine, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have right now because I'm pregnant as shit and I don't really give a shit about exercise. Exercise can fuck off as far as I'm concerned. It just makes me more sleepy. But yeah, for me, it's normally when I'm not pregnant, it's exercise and sleep. Those are the two things, a regular exercise routine and getting enough sleep. Those are the two things that matter the most for me. It doesn't really seem to matter so much what I'm eating. Now, of course, I have been iron deficient numerous times in the past, and that obviously plays a role. So if I'm not eating enough iron, that plays a role. But that's much easier to do on the diet I'm eating now than it is eating just fruits and vegetables. Also, just how I felt in general. Things were much different then than they are now for me. I'm much less self-absorbed now than I was then. I have a much different life now, many more responsibilities now than I did then. I can't imagine being so focused on food as I was then. And exercise as well. A lot of what I did, and even after I was done with the kind of weight loss obsession, it's still a lot of what I did was focused on what I ate and what I did with my body movement-wise. I don't know what this is. It's really strange to me, and it's really it's a really unfulfilling way to live, I would say. That's just for me personally. I'm not knocking anyone's lifestyle who is like that. I'm sure a lot of people live like that and are very, very happy, but just comparing where I was then to now, I'm a lot happier now. I'm a lot happier not being focused on food at all, just eating and enjoying and obviously caring about nutrition. I would say I definitely put more work into my diet than like the average person. I think probably most of you watching this do, and most vegans in general do, and we have more knowledge when it comes to nutrition than like the average person, the average American. But to say that it's like a huge part of my life, other than just I need to eat to exist, it's really not. I don't want to go back to focusing on food that much, and you really have to if you are only eating fruits and vegetables. She talked about again that response I did to her failing on raw foods thing, that every night she plans out what she's going to eat, and some of you were like, That's orthorexia. That's maybe not so good. Yeah, I don't think I was ever that extreme, but yeah, a significant portion of my day was thinking about food and exercise and that sort of stuff. And whether that's healthy or not, I think it depends on the person and, what else you're doing with your time. But for me, it's not a place I would want to go back to. There are more important things in life than fruits and vegetables and working out. That's basically my point.
I have people all the time say, it doesn't matter if you eat fruits or vegetables. There are people who eat steak and they smoke every day of their lives and they live till they're 100 and they're just fine. But you know what? Everybody's different, and there are always those people who are those special exceptions.
What about those of us, the raw foodists who struggled and are no longer raw? Like 99.9% of us. Why doesn't Kristina mention us? I think because she doesn't have any answers for us. I mean, she can't just throw out the typical eat more calories and plan your meals and raise your awareness and understand that fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's like, yeah, we get that. And we did all of those things and we still struggled. If you're selling a diet as this will work for everyone will do well on this, everyone will do well on this, fruit-based diet, or paleo or raw tofu or whatever it is, you can't acknowledge those people. And if you do acknowledge them, you basically have to say, well, they didn't do it right. You have to. Otherwise, you have to admit that, okay, maybe this diet isn't for everyone. And I don't think Kristina is going to do that.
Wake up. Make the connection. Raise your vibrational self. Raise your energy. Stop making excuses for yourself and start making empowering choices.
You don't have any real reasons for not eating fruits and vegetables. You're just making excuses. Raise your awareness. No, there are people who have like really good reasons, like really, really good reasons why they can't do it. Cost, whatever, physical disabilities that make it very hard. There's so many different reasons, lack of time, where they live. Obviously it's going to be way easier to eat that sort of diet in Florida than it's going to be in Michigan. It's like the pills thing. You're making people feel bad for no reason. You're setting people up for failure and making them feel bad for no reason. And I say no reason because, again, this diet is not healthy. It's not something that should be promoted. It's not sustainable. And you're also keeping people from learning ways that they can make their lifestyle healthy, that they can make things work no matter what they're doing. I mean, I think most people can make some sort of improvement, even if it's something so tiny. And that's awesome. But if you just promote this one thing for everyone and it'll work, and if it doesn't work for you, well, you didn't do it right or you're just making excuses, you keep people from actually improving. You keep people from actually picking something that they can do, and that's something they can stick with for a year. And holy crap, that's awesome. And they're able to do it, and it's easy, and then maybe the next year they can try something else, or a couple months they can try something else. And look how much they've improved, and they've been able to lose weight and whatever. But instead, they're focused on this insanely difficult diet, a diet that's difficult for those of us who, have enough money, who have enough time, who have all the resources, who live in a great location with lots of great fruit, and we can't even do it, right? So you get people trying to do it, and then they fail, and then they feel terrible, and they feel like a failure, and they don't understand that it wasn't them who failed, it's the diet who failed them, when they could have just been making these small improvements and feeling good about themselves. And when you do that, when you make those improvements and you create new habits and you feel good about yourself, it encourages you to make further improvements and feel even better. I do believe that she believes all of this stuff, but it just makes me sad because I think the outcome for a lot of people is not a good one, mentally or physically.
Every time I read a hateful comment from somebody saying, stop making videos, stop making recipes, your videos are so stupid, they're so dumb, nobody cares, you're so dramatic, those are the type of people that I consider to still be sleeping. I consider my message to be far greater and more powerful than that, and I'm going to continue making videos because I want to help wake people up.
Her message is more powerful than that, but not in the direction I think she thinks. It's not a good sort of power. I think it's ultimately a bad sort of power. I mean, she has 800,000 subscribers or something, 805,000 subscribers at the time of this recording. Yeah, she has a lot of power to convince people to change their life, but it's not a good change. Again, you're talking about a diet that is unhealthy and unsustainable, and you are encouraging people to get off medications. You're encouraging people with depression who are on medication that helps manage that to get off of those medications. That is not a good use of your power. So that's it. Really a pretty vague video. I didn't learn much more than what the title said, fruits and vegetables can save your life. That was pretty much the whole video. No explanation of how how they do that. Nothing like that, of course. Just mostly a lot of kind of feel-good stuff. But also some guilt tripping too, for good measure. You know, if you aren't eating fully raw, well, you're just making excuses. Again, it's kind of like I talked about in the Why I Failed on Raw Foods, my response to her video about failing on Fully Raw. And I said she essentially does what Freely and During Writer do, it's just less obvious. You know, they say just straight up, if you're not having the results on Raw till 4, well, you're not doing it right. You know, she doesn't say that, but she implies it by ignoring all of the people who end up failing on the diet and saying, oh, well, it's because you're not eating enough calories or you're not planning your food, blah, 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 even though we were totally doing that and we still failed. Or, yeah, you're just making excuses. That's why you're not eating the diet. It's really unfortunate. And again, I think it's just going to make people feel bad for no reason, because there is no reason to eat this diet. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And if you want to subscribe. And stay tuned, because I will have a new video probably very soon. I'm sticking with that.